For what reason do pleasant folks complete last? This is an idea that numerous red pill men attempt to discuss, however, can totally transform you into a ladies detesting man. That is not what's going on with it. Figure out that there's a distinction between a pleasant fellow and simply being great. As a high worth man, you ought to be good to other people and approach them with deference. There's a platitude: give regard and take regard. That is a major piece of being a high worth man, yet this is where things change. There's a scarce difference between being great and being the supposed decent person that finished last. For this reason, the term decent person is so wrongly made that it winds up confounding individuals. The right term for them ought to be aspiration, less beta guys that seems oak, as opposed to calling them pleasant folks. Thus, for the whole of this video, we won't allude to them as decent folks, but desire less beta guys. For what reason do they complete last? Presently, this question seems oak. It boils down to an absence of limit. Ladies love a man who can cause her to feel like she is extraordinary, who can excite feelings in her. However, they don't cherish a man without limits. In the event that she can mistreat you and you fail to address it, you continue to act as though she is totally right for doing as such. You are completely a beta male. You want to have limits that first and foremost you regard yourself. For instance, you might have promised to at absolutely no point ever watch pornography in the future. Assuming you keep your promises, you will develop a strong sense of respect for yourself that you won't allow anybody to conflict with your limits. Not yourself, and clearly not different ladies. Why? Since your limits resemble the pathway that keep you in the fast track as you go towards your objective. Without these limits, you would continue to head in a different path and never hit your objective in an orderly fashion. Be an honest person. That is something these overall quite beta guys lack. They smother their actual sentiments and just defer themselves from arriving at their actual objective. They could like a young lady, yet they won't ever tell her that, and what happens is they end up in the companion zone. They now become that tenacious person companion who the young lady has no regard for and just purposes to finish her undertakings. She could call you in the event that she really wants a pickup and drop from someplace. You never become her actual main goal, and that is only one motivation behind why you will constantly complete last. So to fix this, you really want to initially be sure about your objective and focus for that second. Do you believe she should date you? It doesn't simply need to be ladies. It may be the case that you believe somebody should be your colleague, or do you maintain that that individual should spend time with you? Rather than skirting the real issue, keep the end stage to you. Make a guide of how you will accomplish this objective, how you will initially arrange, what subjects you really want to examine to accomplish it, and afterward the main part, the end stage. The end stage specifically is what the purported pleasant folks need. They won't ever tell the young lady to give her number and won't share their actual goal. When you set out to avoid the real issue for a really long time without keeping on track with your actual objective, you seem to be being needy. You probably won't understand this, however, individuals can detect what you are attempting to do. They can detect assuming you are excessively destitute or frantic. Recall, brothers, you never need to be on the outrageous finish of anything. Think about it like this. Toward one side of the range are the alleged terrible young men, and on the opposite finish of the range are these purported pleasant folks. You never need to be on both of these outrageous closures. You can imagine that awful young men are the ones who make it, yet they don't. They don't make it past the casual intimate encounter stage, since they can't foster full affinity with the ladies until she experiences passionate feelings for them. They can never keep the ladies around for a really long time. Figure out how to be at the middle, where you seem to be neither a terrible kid or a pleasant person, yet a high-worth man who can utilize various feelings and assets in view of the circumstance. So to respond to the principal address, for what reason do decent folks or desire less beta guys, as they ought to be called, finish last? Because they make extraordinary companions and not incredible lovers. They fit impeccably into the companion zone class, since they never develop the certainty to ask her out. They could elect to wash her vehicle or convey her staple things, however, never tease or bother her to develop that intimate pressure. This at last implies that you break your own limits that would have in any case assisted you with floating straight forward to your objective. They have no self-confidence, are excessively pleasant, destitute, and shaky, exhausting, can be controlled effectively, stay away from conflicts at all expense, are powerless, never need to outrage anybody, and can never lead. So quit sitting around idly for a marvel. Anything you desire to accomplish throughout everyday life, make a guide from the initial stage to the end stage, and follow it with no statements of regret. Very much like anything, This is a propensity you should develop over the long haul. Coincidentally, remember to show some adoration. Tap that subscribe button and hit like for the algorithm.